early, like a minute early to make sure that it works. I'm going to go a bit early. Okay, there we go. What's my hair looking like? It's looking like the haircut's coming up. So funny because my camera is like backwards and stuff. And so like I move this hand, but I see it over there. So weird. So weird. But anyhow, yay. Yay. Oh, and I just got an email. Hey, Christine, nice to see you. I just got an email saying I'm on YouTube. Kind of cracks me up. Kim Harris, nice persona. I love it. That one persona can see and hear me. Love it. Heather MC is in the house. Thank you. Yeah, this is a dress. I'll do this. It kind of is the same thing. It's got pockets. Yeah, so it is a dress. I feel a little bit like Pebbles and Bam Bam in it. Um, but yeah, here's a lovely story. Thank you, Kim Harris. Yes, I see a bunch of people with little crowns with number ones on them. I don't know what that means, but I assume it's something good. So here's a funny story. You know what? I threw it away and we took out the trash, but regardless, one of the things I've been kind of bugging my husband about is making sure that he wears the 41 shirts that are in his closet. Well, I realized that I have some clothes that I haven't worn for a while. Okay. Oh, there we go. Top fans. Awesome. Love a dress with pockets. Yeah, it comes in really handy. So I looked into my closet and I said, well, I should probably do the same thing. And so I started this is I wore a dress last week and I wore one earlier this week. And then I decided when they got cleaned, I put them in the other closet. Okay. So they went from this closet, I wore them, and then I put them there to practice wearing the clothes I haven't worn before. And I decided to put this one on today. And I was like, yeah, it's been a while since I've worn it. It still had the tag from when it had been dry cleaned. Literally, it was September of 2022. Almost 3 years, and I hadn't worn this. Now, I had gained some weight. I will not, hide that. But the crazy thing is this is one of those dresses that hides, as my mother would say, a multitude of sins. So it's just kind of random that I'm thinking, oh, I should wear that. Yeah, I should wear that. But yay. Hey, look who we got here. We got Carla Jane, we got Christine, we got McDugs, who's ready to work. All right, we'll put you to work. There we go. Yeah, I decided it was a nice sunny day and I put on one of my dresses from my closet, Carla Jane, that we had worked on seeing what I still had in my closet that I could declutter or wear. And I'm making an effort to use the things that, I have kept, much like decluttering. So thank you. Yeah, you guys just used to seeing me in a black t-shirt, but I do wear clothes other than that. Just not, usually outside of what I do here. But good evening. It is sunny-ish out. I was thinking of doing this YouTube live from the patio, but I realized the time of day was not right because it's going to get a little bit dark. Okay, Erin, the savior of the day, who reminded me that I was distracted this morning and almost forgot to do my TikTok live. Thank you for coming to the rescue, my dear. But one thing I did realize I will share with you guys, is because somebody said, and I'm always bad with names, and somebody said they really wanted me to do like kind of a little video tour of the patio. It's a very small patio. It won't take a long time. But what I will say is this: the tour of the patio will happen on a YouTube live. It's going to happen just for the people who show up on a YouTube live. Now, maybe I will put in parentheses patio tour on the thing to prep people for it, but not everybody scrolling by on TikTok deserves to see my patio. I'm a pretty private person. So consider yourself already in the know. And also, frankly, some of the people who are brave enough to even just tune into YouTube, even though you're not probably used to it. Okay. Now, the people who show up get rewarded. When you show up, when you try something new, when you're like, I don't know how to work YouTube, well, then you don't get to benefit from it. I try to make it easy, but I also like to reward the people who show up for themselves and, for me. So there we go. So what do we have going on this evening? How have you been? Did you have a good day? Did you have a good day? I got some stuff done. I got some stuff done. Everybody, don't forget your habit tracker. We're just a day and a half in. You can still play along at home. Even take some time during this live. You don't always need to look at the screen. Go to the secret page, press the orange button. It pops up as a PDF, print it out, and maybe you could just have it filled out in what you want to track by the end of our live today. There we go. Erin had a busy day. She got stuff done, but want to do a bit more cleaning or laundry. Okay. Yeah. And Carla Jane wasn't feeling well this morning. And don't I always say, make sure you feel okay? Everything else comes secondary. So don't worry. Don't worry, my dear. There's no need to apologize. This is one thing. Now, some of you have one-on-one coached with me. Others of you have not. The people who have not, you do not realize how just flexible I am with when people ask if they can reschedule. I will always say yes. The only time it doesn't work is when people ghost me and then you snooze, you lose. But I get it when things come up. I am flexible. I always make sure you get your sessions. But if something comes up, if it's not going to work out, fine, I'll just reschedule it. But that's the funny thing that happened today was my brain forgot to look at my schedule. I was relying on my brain, the calendar in my brain, and I thought, well, Carla rescheduled and another client in the afternoon rescheduled. So my little backseat driver, the child within was like, snow day. Oh, this is great. Okay. I kind of just blew over the fact that I was doing a TikTok live. And the funny thing is, I probably did that because I enjoy doing them so much. It just feels like fun. There we go. Okay. Clara says, yesterday we had an inspector come check stuff at our house and had to play the pitch and ditch game for some stuff. You know what? We're kind of doing that ourselves. Clara was asking about the basement. And what I will let you know, Clara, is it's looking good. It's looking real good. And the neat thing is, my husband and our friend Dennis were down there this morning while I was doing the TikTok live, and for a while after that, building a drum riser. Doesn't every basement need a drum riser? So now the drum set can be put appropriately on a riser. So things are coming together. And the neat thing is things are looking better than they have for the entirety of the 20 years we've lived here. So yay to progress in the basement. Also, we are playing a bit of pitch and ditch ourselves, Clara. So you're not the only one, because we're not necessarily truly pitching and ditching, but we are placing some items down in the basement, but they're not exactly where their forever home will be down there, is because we need to do some painting on the walls. So we are putting some stuff down there because we have friends coming over on Monday. And will everything be down the basement? No, this whole hallway right here is probably still going to be full. But at least what we're doing is we're putting the stuff down from the living room, but we're doing it in an organized fashion. We are categorizing it while we put it down there. We have even done an additional declutter of some of that stuff. So yes, so thank you for asking, Clara, and yay for progress in the basement. Yay for progress in things that you think you're not a big fan of. So Cheryl Siegel, SS, says, got my yearly physical today, and this was a big deal because I am not a fan of doctors. I am so proud of you for doing that. I am. That is a big deal. Fear of doctors can get you sicker than going to the doctor. I hope it went well, Cheryl, and I hope at the end of it, you said, you know what? That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Cheryl, I will say this. If it was bad, or if it was worse than you thought it would be, there are plenty of doctors out there. You can get a new one. Okay. But I hope it went well, because that is something. Just think again in that concept of nipping something in the bud, starting small before it gets bigger. We can talk about clutter that way. We can also talk about diseases and things that can really harm you permanently. Okay. Going to the doctor regularly. It went well. Good. So I hope you also have it on your calendar to, in about 6 months, schedule your one for 6 months from then, because where I live, it can take that long to get a doctor. And, praise be that we still have health insurance after what's going on here. But taking care of your health, how you are physically, is like your human body, which is finite and fallible and aging and can get sick and get achy and can weaken. This is the machine that's carrying your soul around in the world. If your body isn't working, your soul is just going to sit there in a recliner. It can't go anywhere and experience the world. It's almost like we are kind of this robot with this ghost inside of it who's moving it along. Now, I just say that to you because um, that's what we always start with, is making sure when you scan down that you're feeling okay. Right now, I know I got to floss my teeth, which is great because that's something that's on my um, habit tracker. And I will share with you that I flossed my teeth more last month than I have in many months before that, simply because it was on my habit tracker. Right now, I feel a little bit of food from dinner in my teeth, maybe TMI. But when I scan down, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something to feel better. I'm going to floss my teeth. I'll take off my restrictive undergarments and get into my pajamas. Um, what can you do to make yourself feel more comfortable and better in your human body right now? Maybe I will cross my legs the other way, you know? Making yourself feel good physically is a really important first step. The next one that kind of is its partner is making sure you're feeling good. Nervous system. The nervous system, your nerves, your energy, your electricity going through you. Now, hopefully, at this time of day, you're kind of winding down, you're slowing down, you're coasting into that parking lot at that cute little roadside hotel where you're going to sleep for the day after your long journey. Now, maybe you have a few things you want to do, you're going to putter and declutter, that's fine. But make sure you're working at a pace that feels good. Make sure what you're doing is making you feel good. And regardless of what's going on in the world, don't focus on it to the point of feeling horrible. It is going to be so much more important than ever for us to look for the good and find the good. So, even just to counteract the horribleness, I believe, that is going on in the country right now. So, this is survival training, really. You can't, if you stay in the overwhelm of things and what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to people that aren't as fortunate as me. But if you stay in that space, you'll want to just throw up and, go under the covers. That's not what we do here, though, right, you guys? No. We are going to focus, as Christine says, focus on love, on kindness and peace. Focus on the helpers. And you know what? We are helpers. We are. I may be a helper to you, but maybe it's like, what is it? He's Mr. Freeze Miser, he's Mr. Snow, and they had the little guys. We are all mini helpers out here. And so when you learn to calm down your nervous system, you are going to be better available to see if somebody needs help, even if it's an old lady needing help across the street. Okay. And yes, look for good and also do good for yourself and others. 100%. Look for the good and be the person who makes the good happen, because that will also kind of give you a yes, and it will make you feel good and it will help somebody else. Being kind to somebody when you're in a store, not being one of those Karens that you see videos of. Understand when things go slowly. No big deal. It's not the cashier's fault. Um, don't take out your anger at other things on other people. So let's not be a Karen, be a Beth. I saw that somewhere, and it's kind of funny. I felt kind of bad because my sister-in-law, my husband's brother's wife, her name is Karen, and I'm Beth. And somebody said there was a meme that says, "Don't be a Karen, be a Beth," and I'm like, works for me. So yeah, so we're in it for the long haul, people. So be a helper and help yourself, and you'll be in a better position to help others. Okay. Um, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to get into? Huh? We got 45 minutes. I can easily talk about stuff that comes off of my head, but what would you like help with? Um, I know that I will say this, I know I throw a bunch of kind of habits to use, notebooks and, to-do lists. And I remember last time we did one where we folded the paper in half and then folded in the paper in half again. Are there any of the kind of coaching concepts or tools in the toolkit that I mention that you are unclear about a certain part of it? I could totally elaborate on that. Um, what else? Um, I don't know. You tell me. Give yourself a moment and think, what would be beneficial for me today? Maybe it's just a bunch of kind talk and chatting with people. Um, but tune into what's going to make you feel good. What's going to make me feel good is giving you some quiet to think about it and maybe put something in the comments. And while you do that, I'm going to sip some water. There we go. So Clara says the calm down check, always physical. Yeah. What I like to do, this is being a creature of habit means that you don't have to actively think about things. You just kind of know how to do something. So, Clara, what I have found in my own life and in my coaching is that if I try to coach somebody who's all over the place and freaking out and not doing any, all over the place, coaching is nearly impossible until they calm down and sit down and quiet down and focus on what's going on. Okay. I bet you're the same way. If you're all dithering around and stuff, it's hard to really concentrate and get something done. So I like to start with calming down the nervous system. But even before then, if your physical body is like you've got a throbbing headache or you've got an upset stomach or you're just not feeling good, that will affect you in addition to your sorry, my husband was running after the ice cream man, and he said he was gonna bring me an ice cream. He said, "No luck, it's okay. I don't need an ice cream." Um, so just starting with saying to yourself, it takes like 15 seconds, top of your head. And the reason I say you start at the top and you scan down, it's because down is one of the words we use to help you remember it. So just scan down, you know? Yeah, squirrel. But you can practice not squirreling. You can say, okay, from here, and even that's another thing too. That's another down. Closing your eyes down so you're visually not distracted by things and just scan down your body. Maybe as you do that, you loosen up some of your muscles, shoulders down. Maybe you correct your posture, like I'm always trying to do myself. Then you go below the bubs, and then you're like, nope, things are good here. Down the legs to the knees to the ankles, the ankles to the toes. Okay. And then you say, hey, I'm alive and I'm feeling pretty good. Then the next one would be, again, I call this from the skin within. Before you even go to what am I going to do out there and do this and do that, check on your physical body and check on your nervous system. It might take you a minute, but it is well worth the practice of also breathing down and calming down and quieting down. Now, if you're feeling good already, if you're not activated nervous system wise, then you're good. But check in anyway. Breathing deeply gets more oxygen to your cells. Shoulders back and moving around your muscles means that, you've got more blood going to the extremities and things. It will make you feel better just as a human. And it maybe takes about a minute, but that minute, if you miss that minute, if you try to skip over it, it's going to show up later. So do that now, helping yourself feel better, and you're kind of setting the groundwork, like you do it with your car. When you get in your car, before you even start to drive, you check your gas. I hope you check your gas gauge. I hope you notice if you've got any lights on your dashboard. Like, oh, I'm low on oil. Oh, I should check the engine, whatever. If you would choose to ignore those, things can get worse. Much like Cheryl going to the doctor. If something was up, ignoring things often makes things worse. It doesn't often make things go away. Early in our lives, owning this house, we would ignore things, hoping they would kind of magically heal themselves. No. If anything, the leaks got worse, the peeling paint got worse, the smushy floor got worse. It did not heal itself. So, and as McDoug says, trust the process. Okay. So I offer these things in a certain order to you just so you can focus on what the next steps are, because the next steps are still within, but it's more thinking. It's more thinking and tuning into your head. But if your head is like a boiling pot of spaghetti, it can be hard to get a word in edgewise. Okay. The next steps are always, to me, going to be sitting down and saying, okay, I'm feeling calm. And then it's like, all right, where am I headed? What do I want to get to? What can I do today? What's a little next step I can do today to get to my destination decluttered? Or better, or even like me, it's like stay there. Now, here's a funny thing. Last night, when we started bringing things down the basement, it did not take us as much time as I thought it would be to do a good third of that room. Now, I was lucky. We worked in a tandem thing. So I moved things from the living room to the kitchen, and my husband is the one who got the stair stepper workout because he was going up and down the stairs. But the work, both of us working together, it did not take as much time as I thought it would to get it done. And I'm so glad we did. We were able to sit down on the couch last night and watch a bit of TV. Of course, I fell asleep during it, as that's how I roll. It was the first time in literally over 2 months we've been able to do that, because stuff has been all around that room, and then there's been a sorting table in front of it. Now the table is still there because there's more stuff to sort through, but it's been more organized than ever, you know? Um, yeah, so okay, I love this. I love this. Mary Lou says, I could ask about writing down. Aside from lists, the more journal-like things you say we should write down. Do you revisit them to process, or is it really just the act of writing down that helps? Okay, so depending upon what you wrote down, sometimes it can be like throwing something up and just getting it out of you. But I say this, reviewing your notes will show you when similar things come up. Okay? So for example, when I say to my clients, and using your spiral bound notebook, and I say, fold the paper in half and then write down kind of what your backseat driver would say right here, and then write down the opposite, like practice writing down the loving retort or response. I can't do it. Sure, I can. I can do this. Why not? Why can't I do it? Well, because I'm too old. Like, you have a conversation, but you write that down. Now, if you keep those notes, and I have mine. I do, not all of them. But what you will start to do is you will start to notice that you use your backseat driver says the same thing to you all the time. So if you go and review your notes, and this is what I say, like, so if we were coaching, I'd be like, okay, why can't you do something? Right. And I'm just going to be really quick here. I'm going to say seat drivers, BSD, and then CP for co-pilot. And then it would be fear is on one side and love is on the other. Okay. And then you fold the paper in half. And whenever you have an unhelpful thought going through your head, you can ignore it. You can talk to yourself in your head about it. But as you start this, if you're a co-pilot, if you are truly believing what the bad things are, it can be difficult to argue in your head. So write it down. Write down what your backseat drivers are saying that are not so helpful. Then take what you wrote, and what's the opposite? Whatever the opposite is. And what you would do then is you would draw a line through what they said after you wrote kind of that loving response to, again, kind of balance it out. Drawing a line through what your negative thoughts were, your unhelpful thoughts were, will allow you to still read it, but it also kind of is a physical and like a visual physical thing that says, I am distancing myself from that. I don't believe it. And yet, if you want to read it, it's still there, versus just crossing it out where you can't read the words. The reason I think it's beneficial to cross it out with just a straight line through it is because you're saying to yourself, nope, I'm done with that. But the next time you do this, let's say you keep a notebook and every time you do it, you fold the pages in half. You could go back and say, wait a minute. The other day you said I was too old to do anything like this. You said it was too late. What did I say then? Oh, you know what? I'm going to say something different now. You keep on telling me I'm too old. And yet, when you told me that a week ago, I was a week younger than I am today. So I say to you, just the act of writing down does help, but reviewing your notes and seeing the content of what you're writing is really going to be enlightening. It's going to show you what you tell yourself that stops you from doing something, that discourages you. It removes the courage from you. Those words discourage you. It takes the courage away from you. No, they're going to laugh at you. Why would they laugh at me? I'm just going to sing a song on stage, you know? Um, so yeah. So I just offer to you that getting it out of you is important versus keeping it in, but also, and again, notice how I'm giving you a specific home for those thoughts. On one side of this paper, you write this, and then the home for the other things are there. That when we would coach, for example, that you might do just a brain dump of things you need to do in your home, but even then we might fold the paper in half 2 times. So you have some columns and you have one that says living room, one that says dining room, to organize your thoughts as you write them down. And Carla Jane says it will calm you down and get your mind in a more calmed state. And this is the reason I suggest writing things down by hand. And 2 things I would add to that. Write down your responses to the unhelpful thoughts in complete sentences and legibly. Sometimes we'll just dot down a word. You know what? It's going to be so much more powerful in slowing you down and to be able to absorb what you're saying when you write it down and you write it in a complete sentence, because you will take so much more time writing down the stream of consciousness that your backseat driver is doing. You're going to be like the court reporter. Where's my steno book? You guys know what a steno book is, right? I got one right here. Is that it? Oh, I think it is. Remember these? Oh, funny. Benefits of decluttering. Am I not me? Right? But you know what? You're going to sit there and you're going to write down all the things that they say. But when it comes to you and your co-pilot, you may just write down something small, or you may not finish that process. Writing down in full sentences a loving, thoughtful response that takes the sting out of and the energy away from the negative thought. And you absorb it better when you're thinking in complete sentences and you're writing it down legibly. That also slows you down. I'm a messy writer. I am. My writing has gone to pot, and especially if I'm only writing it to myself. But if I slow down, I absorb more. It's kind of like when you're watering a plant. You can let everything dump in and it's going to spill out and you're not going to get the benefits. But if you slow down and let it have a slow sinking in trickle, that will last longer. Yeah, I love this. Carla says it has worked for me every single time. And I love this because this is great. Carla Jane says, for me, it irks my backseat driver when I take the time to write it well. Yeah, because they realize that you're not just blindly listening to them. So she says, it irks my backseat driver when I take the time to write it well, so much so that usually they get out of the car. Now, in my metaphor, yours may get out of the car, but they're going to come back in. What I will say is they usually just shut up. They just quiet down. They calm down and quiet down because they know that you're on to them. The backseat driver is like, shit, she knows that I say words that I hope will make her stop. She is now writing words that are going to nullify my words. She's on to me. She's found a way to negate what I am saying. So I might as well just stop talking. And it's really fun to play with that. It really is because it's all like, and it's so funny because I talk about this as if I'm one person here and there's another me there next to me in the passenger seat, and then there's another person in the back seat. It's all happening within. I like to look at it though as if I'm in the driver's seat of a car and I'm hearing these scared little kid stories from the back seat. Because your backseat driver is really just part of your own soul that is just afraid of change because change could be harmful or scary. It equates change with danger, change or danger. So anything that is changing something up is something on their perspective to be feared. It's like your less developed brain. But we all know we have examples of living and doing something that we were initially afraid of and realizing it was not as bad. And if anything, it could do a lot of good. Cheryl Siegel was afraid to go to the doctor, but she went to the doctor. I was, it's like, you got to schedule your mammogram and it's going to hurt when they push your bubs in the thing. But you'd much rather have that temporary discomfort than ignore it and then have breast cancer, you know? There we go. Yeah, Christine, I love it. Christine, when we were coaching, she was talking about she's got really sassy backseat drivers. So she pictures them. We both picture them in little pleather jackets because they're trying to be so cool and grown up and being sassy. And they've got their little candy cigarettes. Remember candy cigarettes? Right? So she says, mine put out their candy cigarettes and go back to playing video games in the back seat. So yeah, they're like, oh, you know what, I'm not even trying anymore, do whatever you want, I'm going to just play my video game. That's how you want them. And then you're going to prove to your backseat driver that what you did was a good idea. See, I told you, if we went here there would be something cool here, there was nothing to be afraid of, and actually something awesome happened. So proving it to yourself, doing something it's part of you is afraid to do. Let the other part that's not afraid help you drive towards that life you want, that healthy, safe, decluttered life. And I love it. Carly Jane says, mine are like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. Oh, she's writing stuff. Yes, even sitting down and writing. I have one. I haven't done it in a long time. I'll be honest with you, because I have gotten good at this. And I'm not saying like, do as I say, not as I do. But I can usually at this point, because I've been doing it for years, I can calm down my backseat drivers fairly quickly. My co-pilot is so much more strong and confident and aware of what's going on that it tends to lovingly shut things down at a moment's notice. But on the times that I do, I still use it. Now I had one, it was so funny. Um, it was 1/12/2025. I did it on my computer, and yeah, I'm lamenting. I called it lament into action. That's what I did. I'm lamenting the loss of good stuff that we had and the lack of the good stuff in the future. I lament the fact that I feel like I can't do anything to stop and change it. I feel powerless. I feel disconnected, you know, fear of no connection, no community. This was a lot when TikTok was going. And then I wrote the other stuff on the other side. And I keep this there to remind myself of what I said to myself. Okay. I said, this is totally understandable. My co-pilot says, and I haven't read this before to anybody, and I haven't seen it since January. So I said, I'm lamenting the loss of good stuff that we had and the lack of good stuff in the future. And then I said, my co-pilot said to me, that is totally understandable. Look at all the things that are changing in these past few weeks. One of them would be a lot to handle, but compiled, this is a wicked lot. It's good you're realizing this so we can do something about it. you know Again, completely valid. Where is if TikTok is going, what am I going to do? Where else can I show up? What can I do? I can do this. That's why I started showing up doing these YouTube lives. So I say to you that I've done this practice, and it helps me to this day. I was able to kind of self-coach myself this morning in the kitchen, where I talked these things out loud just to my husband. And then I was able to say, but I really feel like I'm at a good place, yada, yada. And I don't remember what I said because I didn't write it down. So I offer to you, you will get to where you want to go to so much more quickly if you literally just do what I say. But I mean that, like, people will resist writing things down. Oh, I haven't done the writing. I don't want to do it. I've been avoiding it. Oh, I lost my notebook. Yeah, the cat ate my gym suit. Um, whatever it is, they avoid, avoid, avoid because they're listening to their backseat driver who says, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Who's that? White lines. White line? Don't do it. You know? I say do it. The person who says don't do it is the person that stands to lose something if you do it. Damn, that's a keeper. That's a keeper. Think about it. Your backseat drivers, when you start taking control, they realize that you will not be following what they say. You're going to make up your own mind and possibly do something different. So I love it. Cat Roby's showing up. Hey, yo, late meeting, wrapping up the day. Purses will have to wait. The SBB is clearing the decks. I love it. Clear the decks for tomorrow and making dinner with my hubby. Did yoga twice in a row in my habit tracker. That's a big deal. It is. It is. I actually did yoga yesterday and I went to a Pilates class today because I have classes that are going to expire before I use them. I totally have a thing on my habit tracker for that. I've taken a walk today. Here's a fun thing. If you guys want to get steps in, seriously, just go to a big grocery store and you have to go get milk and eggs that's down the corner. You can get your steps in big time. I'm definitely going to floss my teeth. I'm going to take my nighttime medications. And check it out. It's still light out, you know? Yeah. And Carla Jane says, I have tried harder to make it a habit to write down my good things. It then makes me take notes of the good things of the day. Yeah. Because even in the midst of all this hellaciousness, there are good things out there that, again, I'm not saying ignore the hell. What I'm saying is when you focus on the hell, you will get into a way of feeling and doing that's not helpful for you or anybody else. But when you can counteract that with, you know what? There are still good people in the world. I choose to be one of those good people in the world to counteract somebody who wants people harmed for their own pleasure or profit. I'm going to show up and I will counteract, I will negate, I will nullify one of those people's votes with my vote. So I'm going to make sure I vote. I will show up in kindness to nullify somebody else who's showing up in hate. And I choose to believe that there are more kind, loving people in the world. It's just that we don't often get the camera on us because we aren't losing our shit and we don't make good copy. We don't make good news. I mean, it does horrify me and really bums me out to no end to know that there are, even when I say that it's a lot closer to 50-50 than it is 70-30. But you know what? This is the world we live in, you know? So what are we going to do about it? I look back in history, again, feeling like we're on a continuum. I look back in history and I realize, I said this to my husband today, so I'll share it with you, that since the inception of humanity, there's always been that kind of struggle between good and evil. Every single society on the planet has done that. And while things may seem horrible right now, and they are, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The other thing is, and I said to him, I said, it's kind of like weight loss. You can focus on what's happening right now and be like, oh my God, this is horrible. And it is. And yet, look, if you put your head up and you look around, you will see that, at least as far as my knowledge of history goes, there's been no other time on the planet where women have had more rights and have been able to do more things. That LGBTQIA, and I'm not jamming it up consciously, I'm just whatever, that the LGBT community is more accepted than ever. That people can be in relationships with people of different skin color, and that is more accepted than ever. So while things are really, really getting shitty right now, We have also made great strides in where we have come in even just the last 100 years. Think back to the rules that they had in the how about 1925? You know, women barely got the vote. It was still very, all sorts of things have changed in 100 years. So don't lose sight of that. If you keep that in focus, that reminds us to keep on going and continue to make our lives better and other people's lives better as well. Okay. Now, I realize I've been kind of soapboxing. I will step down off the soapbox, but it's really important to realize how you feel, that you can control, you can regain a sense of control in your life by controlling your clutter. If you can't control what's going on, you've done all you could outside the things to make things better. You've done things, be good with that. And decluttering your house reminds you you can do something. It will also help dissipate some of that nervous, frustrated energy to actually feel like you can make something better out of something that was chaotic and awful. The steps that you learn to calm down your nervous system, to write down what's bugging you, to get specific, the way that you declutter your home is the way that you declutter the world of what you don't want. So you are learning a valuable skill within the comfort and safety of your own home. And the cool thing is, it's really hard to measure personal growth. We can weigh our bodies, and there's a machine that shows us how many pounds we weigh. But there are very few measuring tools to measure how you have grown and changed as a person. The cool thing is, though, is that you can become a different person and have the visual of the before and after of a cluttered home. When you said that was bugging me, but instead of just sitting there and getting frustrated or blaming or giving up, I calmed down, I chunked down, I wrote down, and I showed up again and again. And the more you do that, and the more your home the more you begin to transform your own home, you will have visual evidence of when you have embodied these good habits that also help outside of your home as well. So just think about that. Think about that. How's that, little cat? I think my mom used to say that. What about that, little cat? Very cute. Now, I have drunk a lot of water today. When we went out to lunch with Dennis and Cliff, they had beers, and I was very proud of myself for having more water because I knew I had stuff to do today. Pen pals, the pen pal list got sent out. Maybe some of the pen pals are here today, not sure. But still, if you want to become a Destination Decluttered pen pals, send me an email. I can add you to the list, and the list they're doing their pen pal thing. Stickers. All the sticker people, your stickers are getting mailed tomorrow. What else? Declutter parties are ready to happen. Consultations for one-on-one coaching are scheduled. They're not going to be until 2 weeks into the month because I am traveling. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't distracted when I show up for consultation, that I am focused on just the person in front of me, finding out what they're struggling with to see if what I offer can help. And then for them to just ask me all the questions about what's coaching like, how does it cost, what do I get, how does it work, the scheduling, what happens during a session, all of that. I want to be fully 100% present for people on consultations and my clients, you know? So that's why I drank water today. And that's why I've scheduled where the coaching consultations will be so that I'm not distracted by my everyday doings. I hope you are scheduling the stuff that you want to focus on at the times where you have energy and focus. It just makes them easier, frankly. If you try to do something that requires a lot of thought, but you're in a distracted environment, it's going to be harder to do it. I know this because I too am easily distracted. I said before, I will wear, and it's great. Christine says peace begins at home. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Anybody? Anybody? Peace. Peace and quiet. Sometimes I put on earbuds even if there's really nothing going on because it quiets down. I'm not distracted by things that are going on. When I focus and can, settle down and calm down and quiet down, that's when I get good stuff done and it feels easy. It's a struggle to do something that you need to concentrate on when I'm in a chaotic environment. And maybe that's the same with you too. Did you notice right there? I don't want to speak for you. I'm only speaking for myself, but I'm thinking you could relate. So, getting your home in a less chaotic state just gets your energy. It works, you know what I mean? Like, here's an interesting thing. We talked about feeling better in your body at the beginning before you declutter. But then when you declutter, the decluttered home makes you feel better just at being in it. So you will rarely have to get yourself out of a chaotic tiz when you're like, I don't know where anything is and it's always dirty here. And my God, blah, 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 blah. No, it's like, yep, I got to do some laundry. Okay, did some laundry. Oh, you know what? Like I right now have to empty the dishwasher. Okay, no big deal. I'll empty the dishwasher before I go to bed tonight. Because when I do that, then empty dishes, dirty dishes can go in. That you take the drama out of it. Drama is something that expends a lot of energy in you. It kind of is a very inefficient use of your energy. I want you to conserve your energy for good stuff. I want you to not spend your energy. I don't want you to spin and kind of waste the gas in your tank over things that you can't control. I will actively scroll past people on TikTok who are like, "Let me tell you about the hellacious event that happened to me in the grocery store." Because you know what we do as humans, we lean in and we're curious, but you know what? That takes time and energy. My Betty ain't got time for that. So notice where you're spending your energy. Is it for something dramatic, or could you quiet down the drama queen in the back seat and get stuff done and not have it be a BFD? Big fucking deal. You're just doing the laundry. Look what I'm getting. Actually, here's a great thing. Um, the coach that I really got a lot of stuff out of, Jen Sincero, is showing up more on TikTok. And it's great because I can totally tell she's doing stuff from her book, which is awesome. But she says, when you say to yourself, if you're afraid to do something, you just want to see what you can get away with. I just want to see what would happen if I made that phone call. I just want to see what would happen if I just donated that thing, you know, and just play with it. Have a sense of play and lightness. Yeah. Oh, cool. Kara says just started her first on Libby. I think I used to actually, you know what? Here's a fun thing, Clara. I listened to her stuff so long ago that I think my God, I think I literally like checked out the books on tape version on CD of her book when it was in our library. I'm sure there are more modern ways to listen to it now, but she narrates her own books, and she's got a great kind of voice to do it because it's the words she wrote, But I really got a lot out of her approach. That's why I am here today, because I saw that somebody could be funny and irreverent. And frankly, one of the things that appealed to me was that she was well into her 40s before she ever kind of got her poop in a scoop, which is how she called it. So when I heard that, I said, wait, you mean there's hope for me too? And there was, and there is. And here I am helping you. So I love to spread the word about the stuff that helped me, because why should I gatekeep it? The world needs more people who are out there kicking ass and helping other people. We're all here, on this planet for such a short time. Even the people who have more money than God, Jeff Bezos is still going to die. He is. With all that money, he's still going to die. And oh, you know what? Here's a fun thing too. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to try. Okay. The other day we were talking about where is it? Um, just that concept of using money and the idea, and it's sorry. Hold on. Stop. No, no, no. I just want to copy this. I don't know if you can see this, but here's the thing, and it's literally like using grains of rice to realize how much money people have or how much a million is. And even thinking about $1 trillion, a billion is too big for the human brain to really conceptualize. A trillion, holy F, $3 trillion in the that are going to be added to the debt in the next 3 years because we gave a handful of rich people even more money. WTF, people. So we need to be more vocal and help ourselves and help other people more than ever, you know? And okay, the rice things works. Cool. Thank you, Clara. You don't have to watch it right now, but I just wanted to share that link so maybe it pops up or something because that was really literally eye-opening for me. Because I know what a dollar is, I know what a 10 is, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Even a million is 10 100,000s. Okay. Anything over that, it's like, what? Who needs that? But I digress. I digress. We got 9 minutes together. What do you want to do for these next 9 minutes? What's going to make these next 9 minutes feel good to you? You let me know and we'll do it. We can talk about old timey movies. We can, I'm not going to sing a song, but we could talk about pop culture. Are there any songs about decluttering? There probably are songs about decluttering that are all about like kick your man to the curb or, wash that man right out of my hair, send him on his way, right? Um, I love seeing it before and after, like kind of one of those, any of those HGTV shows. I watch a lot of on TikTok, people redoing old vintage homes and, undoing and finding the cool um, floors underneath like the linoleum and stuff like that. The people that save the cool old houses and don't kind of flip them and make them all gray and black. I love watching those things. I find that very fun. Um, I also love seeing on TikTok and here too, like things from the past, like pieces. What is it? uh, Schoolhouse Rock, because I'm of an age that I watched Schoolhouse Rock. Was thinking about that when I was driving to drop off my phone today. I was like, fireworks, there's going to be fireworks on the 4th of July, red, white, and blue, red, white, and blue fireworks like diamonds in the sky. That's why I don't sing at all. But I love those things that we grew up with together. Seeing Bert and Ernie, it's like seeing old friends. I saw Grover today and he was like, "You are special." So cool. So, those are the things that I think are good in the world. What are some good things that happened to me today? I wrote them down. Let's see. Um, I walked to and from my Pilates class, and I saw one of my neighbors because she was going to a class right after me. And I got to stand on the sidewalk of our cute little town, just chat with my neighbor who said, "Oh, that's right. I was going to lend you a book. I'll put it on the rocking chair on my front porch." If this doesn't sound like Mayberry, I don't know what we'll do. But it was nice to connect with her there. And I took an extra long walk home. And then I got the stuff out on the patio. And then, lol, I was involved with the patio stuff and forgot to do a TikTok live. But then I got there and I got to hang out with all y'all who showed up. And that was fun. And then after that, I got out and I went downstairs and I saw our friend Dennis, who was helping my husband. And then they were doing some stuff. And then I went out. I was going to get lunch and it didn't work out. But then I came home and we went out to lunch and that was fun. Yes, I set up patio. I also paid some bills for my mother because she gets so overwhelmed right now at the drop of a hat. She always had, and it's just getting worse as she gets older. And so I loved being able to say, "Do not worry, your property taxes are paid." And let me be clear, when I say I paid them, it's not my money. I wish I could do that, but she has the money, but she gets overwhelmed. She shuts down at the sight of an official envelope. So I have my mom set up for, what's it called? Informed delivery, and I can look at what's supposed to come in her mailbox. So I say, "Hey, mom, it looks like you're getting something from the town. Can you open up and let me know what it is?" And then I can log on and pay it for you. So those are some good things that happen to me. Just even the fact that it's not raining anymore and the sun is out and it's warm is giving me hope. I had to go drop my phone off at the store. It was very effortless. That felt good. I got an easy parking space. I went to the grocery store and I was easily able to find what I was looking for. And I got a right in the line right away. There was nobody in front of me. So the cashier checked me out right away. Everything fit in my bag. That was a good thing. So you're going to find good stuff all over the place. The more you look for the good stuff, the more you're going to find. Okay? Yeah. I love this. Carla Jane says, I was able to spend an hour with you all. I didn't buy one thing. I did not add to my clutter, did not deal with anything ugly, and I got help with the yard today. Good stuff, Carla. Yay. More stuff like that. What can we do tomorrow? What's the good you're going to find? Start to activate your senses. Did you smell something good today? Did you hear something good today? Did you see something good? Did you taste something good? Did you feel something good? I smelled some copper tone. I tasted a piece of shrimp cocktail. Unfortunately, I'm losing some of my hearing. I did not hear the ice cream truck, but my husband did. But I did hear some birds chirping. I heard when I went down the hallway, my husband strumming his guitar and Dennis strumming his guitar. So think of your five senses, six senses, you know? So I love this. Dawn says, I saw a beautiful dog named Bailey on my walk this morning. Oh, I love saying the pups on my walk. We used to have a dog. And so I love saying, I actually like saying hi to the dogs better than the people because I'm a bit shy, but I'm always like, hey, and I'm like, morning, dog. Very cool. Yeah. And I love the doggos too, you know? Oh, Clara says, a neighbor offered and made me some dinner, and that was great timing because I had a headache. It could be that time of the year. Carla and excuse me, Clara and Carla both had headaches. Yeah. Oh, a large sweet dog, a big huggable lug. I love that. I love that. Actually, when I was out on my patio shortly before this, I was sitting there just enjoying being on the patio. And then I remembered that earlier this morning, my neighbor said she was going to put that book on her porch. So I walked down and I grabbed the book. It was very sweet. She said she put a little post-it note on it. And as I was walking back, I saw one of our neighbors who has a dog named Walt, who was barking at me, but he's a sweet old guy. So I walked up and I was chatting with her, and I got to do a little, scrub the little head of that pupper. And it gave me that feeling of like just, cute little pups, cute little pups, because we had a cute little pup. And the funny thing is, he's not here right now, but if I concentrate on it, I can almost smell that little stinky dog. He was a salty dog. He was, but I miss him, but I remember him in how he looked and how he was a pretty quiet dog too. He was all elbows. He had this cute little face, but he looked like Michigan J. Frog. Every time you tried to take a picture of him, he looked so cute in real life, and then in front of the camera, he'd be like, "Mm." But we loved him. So think about the things that bring you joy. Are you more a cat person than a dog person? Maybe you don't like animals at all, you know? But think of the things that bring you joy. Think of something when you're laying in bed tonight, as you close down your eyes and you calm down your body and you do a scan and you relax all those muscles from head to toe. After you do that, I want you to think of something that you delighted in with your five senses today, which would be your eyes, your ears, your sight. No, that's your eyes again. Your eyes, your ears, your nose, your taste, and your feel. Okay? So set yourself up for a successful night of sleep. Make sure that the curtains are shut tight so that the light doesn't come in. Shake out the sheets so they're nice and fresh and there's some air under them. Do things to make yourself feel good going to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, Say, what can I do right now to make myself feel good? And ask yourself that throughout the day and do it. Now, I will share with you one of the things that's going to make me feel good after we get out of here is the fact that I realize it's officially dark out right now. You guys can see out the blinds right now. I want to shut my blinds so I feel a bit more privacy. And then one of the things that's going to make me feel good tomorrow, I'm going to take a morning walk. I'm going to take a shower after I walk. I'm going to text my niece because she's doing something hard tomorrow and I'm going to send her some love. And I'm going to do all that before our TikTok live at 9 a.m. Eastern. And one of the things that's going to make me feel really good tomorrow is not forgetting to do my TikTok live. Okay. We got a YouTube live right after it. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this time together. I did. It's now 9 o'clock, so I'm going to sign off. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Good night, everybody. That's my Donnie and Marie. Bye bye.